All right, this is what we call a cold. Oh, wait, what are you doing? You're not finished. What are you?
I wasn't even with you. I was trying to.
You have to be even with me? What do you mean? What's not even with me?
By
the way, welcome to the show. For those that aren't watching via video, you have no idea what's going on right now. I said, hey, we're rolling. Mm-hmm. And you decided that's the perfect moment to grab your camera and start manipulating it. What is not even about us right now?
No, because I was down further. Like we weren't even on the screen.
You're a shorter person.
I know, but I don't want to appear shorter.
Well, you do. I'm sorry.
For video purposes.
You're much tiny. Look at the size of my head.
I know.
Compared to your head.
I feel like that's a look at what Jace is going to look like.
Yeah, he's going to. He's going to be.
Future.
Yeah, he's going to be a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, welcome to the show, episode 13. We're trying. Yeah. We have not forgotten about our intro music. We're just we're experimenting.
Yeah, we are.
We said let's do a cold open today.
See how it goes.
Because
made it weird.
Cold as hell everywhere in the country when we're recording this right now. So we're like, let's just go ahead and follow suit.
Yeah.
No, really, it's been like cold in Florida.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, which is
like
unusual.
Freezing, literal freezing temperatures.
But I mean, that's kind of it is unusual for Florida for that to happen. But I do want to, before we get into all the crazy chaos and fun that we're going to have, that's nothing compared to what's going on in California. I mean, have you watched some of that? Oh my gosh, it's horrible. Yeah. Horrible stuff, but I wanted to just mention that because if you can help, you grew up in Florida. Mm-hmm. I've lived in Florida for long enough to experience several hurricanes. That's the closest thing I can relate to it. That's a big natural disaster that affects thousands of people at once, if not hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people at once, and displaces that many people. They're talking about hundreds of thousands of people displaced. And I mean, LA's obviously a massive city and everything around it, it's so heavily populated. But so what I'm saying is, you know how long it takes to clean up a hurricane.
Yeah. It's not
easy.
And
then you see this where it's, it's a massive scale and such a highly dense area of population. It's going to take a long time. So what I'm getting at is if you can help, there are lots of different ways to donate. The Red Cross is involved out there.
That's right.
Salvation Army, that World Central Kitchen, which I know they were, in Florida for several of the hurricanes, experienced. California Fire Foundation, Wildfire and Disaster Relief Fund. Those are a few of the different things you can donate to if that's one way you can help. But I saw a quote from somebody and I thought it was really good. It's like, you may feel overwhelmed because you're like, I can't help everybody. I don't have that type of money. Then do for one person what you wish you could do for everybody.
Right.
And that will make a difference.
Yeah.
Do for one person.
Our friend Skip that says, everybody doesn't have to save the world, but everybody can do their little.
Yeah.
Their little, whatever your little is, whether it's $5, $100, whatever the case may be, do that. And that's going to build up, snowball effect, and make a really big difference.
That's exactly right. Right. So do help because it'll take a long time for those guys to get back to whatever their new normal will be after all these wildfires are finished and controlled. But they're going to need some help in rebuilding that stuff. So, because we know we've been through similar kind of things from that, and it takes a while, and it takes a while for you to even understand what happened. So,
seriously.
So we'll get to that. All right. Let's see here. We have got a lot going on the show today. I want to start by asking you, Flip, what makes you weird?
I would say the fact that I'm not done with the walk of shame like I thought I was.
Wait, hold up. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
It's not what you think.
Okay.
It's not what you think.
All right.
I promise. Not what you think.
Flip and Streeter make it weird. We'll talk about it.
Shame.
Yes, we do make it weird. I can't wait to touch on that in a little bit. We're going to find out what the heck you are talking about. Thanks for listening. Episode 13. You can follow us, like us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Anywhere you listen to podcasts, we are there, and we would appreciate a follow, a like, and a share. Flipping Straight or Make It Weird, so we can continue to grow. And we are continuing to grow our listenership each week, improving by like half a person. So that's cool. I don't even know how that works, because I was like, this week you had 27 and a half. It's like, how is that even? What do you mean? So you know who you are if you gave up listening halfway through the podcast. You know who you are.
That's right.
We're not proud of you.
Hopefully we'll keep you the whole time.
Well, hopefully we'll keep you the whole time this week. Let's start with the good news. What is going on? Obviously, there's a lot of crazy stuff in the news that we started, talking about, a lot of terrible things, but there's a lot of good things. There's so much good still happening in the world. And let's start with that. Flip, what's going on?
There are a lot of good things. Focusing in India today, there is a Colonel Dr. Rajendra Singh, and he is the founder and director of this addiction center in Punjab.
Yeah.
His methods, they've helped over 10,000 patients kick addictions stemming from a variety of underlying causes. And he had opened this center years and years ago. He is 91 now, but you would not know it. He works all the time in this place, and he's planning to open a third location here pretty soon. But he says, especially Army personnel. Right. Especially Army personnel, they are exposed to all these highly stressful situations, and, long periods away from home can affect their mental health. Some even have, PTSD after combat and war and things. So in every case, though, his method is the same: physical exercise, organized sports, yoga, medical treatment if needed, and introducing the concept of service inherent to his Sikh faith, S-I-K-H faith, without any room for preachiness. So he doesn't, berate these people or anything like that. But he believes that the root cause of addictions is in the certain experiences that everyone has battled, and that they can have like a reckoning with those who have harmed them. That's the end goal in all of this rehab and everything. But he's helped over 10,000 patients there in his home country.
That's amazing, number one. I mean, so amazing for someone to be able to help that many people and make a difference in that many people's lives. And I love his system. I was going to say that's good for everybody. Getting, exercise is so important. That can help. We always in organized sports because you feel a part of a team, you feel valued, you contribute to something. That's as simple as that's why I'm a big believer that all your kids should be involved in at least one type of organized sport or activity like that, because I think that's exactly what it promotes teamwork. You don't let others down. It promotes, feeling valued, and feeling like you're contributing to something. And if you don't, the team's going to let you know usually.
Yeah.
In some way or another, you know what I mean? Like they're going to let you know. So you're held accountability.
Project in science class in high school.
Accountability with that too. So that's awesome. Brittany, like that's like my basic thing. Exercise. In my sports, obviously, I play a lot of tennis. You know that. I play doubles, so I guess it's a team. I guess it's a team sport. When I'm playing doubles, there's one other person on there usually. But
is that because you can't run all the way across the court? You just need someone to cover that half.
You need to cover that half. That's too much. That's too much. That 10 feet.
No singles.
We don't need. I can't do 20 feet. No, but Brittany always jokes. She's like, don't miss your tennis, so you don't become a horrible person. And don't miss your sports so you don't forget, because I can't function as well. I really can't. If I don't do my exercise, if I don't get that out of my system, or if I don't, have my, my exercise and that kind of that discipline, then I'll shove food in my mouth uncontrollably. Like really like that. I'll stress it. I'll have anxiety. I'll just I'll be more irritable if I don't get those things done. So I think he's onto something. That doctor's onto something major.
It really does affect your mood, even if it's walking around the neighborhood or something, for a few minutes every night, something like that. Something that just, helps boost your energy and your happiness and all that kind of stuff. And it prevents you from really overeating and stuff, because you're like, hey, I worked out today. I can't eat well. some people. It's kind of like half and half. It's like, yeah, I could eat this whole tub of ice cream. I played tennis today. Or you could say, no, I played tennis today. I'm working on my body.
Yeah.
I can't eat this ice cream. I'll fall somewhere in between.
That's what I was going to say. I'm about 50-50 on that too. Like some days, actually, it's more like, all right, I played sports today. I can eat all this.
Right.
And then the next time I'm like, I played sports today. Last time I ate all that. So this time I can't. And then I think it just somehow kind of, evens itself out in the long run. I hope.
Yeah.
That's what I'm shooting for. We got a lot to talk about today. That is an awesome story. And again, props to that doctor. I so hope that he lives to 120 and he can open up 5 more of those places if he so desires, which is so cool. We got a lot to talk about because I still want to hear about what the heck this walk of shame thing is, and we've got to get through our That's So Florida and what, a couple other things before we get there. So let's go to That's So Florida. You've got, let's start with what you've brought to the table today, because mine, I think, is going to blow your mind what happened and my That's So Florida. So let's start with yours. Not saying yours is going to be worse.
Okay.
I'm just excited to share with you what is going on.
No, it's okay. You already discounted it. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, you're saying that yours is going to blow your mind. Well, mine lost his mind.
I like what you did
36-year-old man in Pennsylvania lost his mind the other day on drugs. Coincidentally, he showed up at this random woman's house, butt naked, punched her, prayed loudly. He started praying loudly. Talked about the Lord.
Okay.
Drank some toilet water. Assaulted a couple of police officers and left one of them with broken ribs.
This is all in one day. This is one guy.
In the time span of like a few minutes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really messed up.
It's just a random Tuesday.
Wow.
Tuesday morning in Pennsylvania.
I mean, yeah, exactly. The part that's weird is like, he's going on this rampage, and then all of a sudden, just in the middle, he decides to pray and talk to the Lord. Is that was he? Did he have a moment of clarity there, or was that still just part of his?
I don't know. Like I don't know if he was one of the Amish, because it's like good Amish country up there. I don't know if he was just one of those Amish riding around on his buggy, and he's like, let me just stop at this random woman's house and tell her the good news, the message of Jesus.
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that at all. I was just thinking maybe for a second he had a little moment of clarity. He's like, please forgive me for what I've done. Okay, never mind. Toilet water. And then I don't know. That. You know what? That's interesting because that's I don't know. You might top. I don't know if you're going to top mine. This I've never heard anything quite like this before in my life. We've talked about a lot of bank robberies before on the show, and people that attempt to rob banks, and they never work out well. Very rarely are we like, and they got away, right?
Starts out like, could be onto something, but then it gets kind of weird in the middle and ends very badly.
Well, this one starts off very odd, and in the middle is kind of odd, and ends normally because he was arrested. Didn't work. Spoiler alert. And ends normally. But it starts off very odd. Guy walks into a bank.
Okay.
Says, I'm robbing the place.
And
the bank teller's like, okay, what is that you have there as your weapon? Oh, funny you should ask. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a live beehive. Let's not make these bees angry. Because if they're angry, y'all getting stung. And turn over that money or else I'm going to tell them to sting you right now.
What?
No, this is real.
A beehive.
He walks into the bank.
Beehive with bees.
With lots of bees.
What in the Winnie the Pooh is happening right now?
And he says, I'm robbing the place. I will release these bees on you if you do not hand me this cash right now. This is true. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up at all. Guy walks into bank, live beehive, says I'm going to release them and they're going to sting you if you don't give me the cash that I want. Well, panic ensues among all the customers and staff.
Right. Especially the people that are allergic.
Yeah, exactly.
Go into anaphylactic shock.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Everybody there, no! Give him anything he wants. Not the bees. And, but unfortunately, he didn't get everything he wanted fast enough because during that time, cops showed up because of all the chaos. I don't even think they even had to call the cops. They just were like, what is happening at the bank right now? So there's reason number one not to use a live beehive as a weapon because of all the chaos that initially stirs up. Can't hide that very well. Anyway, so cops show up. They arrest him without incident. They did ensure the safety of not only all of the individuals, but also the bees. Bees are safe.
Yeah.
Bees were unharmed.
Bees are important, too.
They're very important.
Good that they saved them.
Yeah, but now the suspect does face charges of attempted robbery and use of a dangerous weapon.
That's considered a dangerous weapon.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just had to amend that after this situation. Or
they might still be working on it right now. They're trying to work on it right now, trying to figure out how to charge this guy.
If he actually looked at previous things, it was like, looking down all the options. I'm just trying to imagine this guy looking down all the options that he could go into a bank with. All the different options. Yeah, and he lands on beehive.
That's a good point. You know, I mean,
he lands on beehive.
Like every house has a shovel. I'd pick a shovel over a beehive.
I feel like you could do more. There are so many more efficient, not that I'm encouraging anyone to do this, but there are so many more efficient ways and weapons to use.
Take a cat. I don't know. Take a cat and then I don't know. I don't want to give any ideas. I don't want to give any ideas. They're all horrible ideas. Right. I'm just saying, you're right. You're right. There's a list of items. There's a list of things you'd have to check off first. Yeah. You'd have to check off first that you get to live beehive. Unless you're a beekeeper. Maybe he is a beekeeper already.
Could be. I mean, he's thinking outside the box, but that was a little too far.
Well, the beehive was in the box. Far. Interesting. Is that worth a... No, I don't think so. All right. Speaking of crazy stuff, let's move on to what. Real headlines this week or very recently that have been in the news. Some very, very strange stories indeed. Flip, I'll start with this one. I'm going to start with this one because we've been talking about all the ice and the cold and the polar vortex and all that stuff that's been happening recently here in the U.S. And these guys, they were out just trying to enjoy the cold. In Massachusetts, that's what you do. That's the only thing you can do in the cold. However, it's very common to do ice fishing up there in in that area. But this year, they were warned and there were signs not to drive. You probably already know where this is going.
So you tell me not to do something, that's immediately the only thing I want to do.
Well, that's what happened. This is a lake. Apparently, they are used to ice fishing and driving their trucks out onto and their vehicles and such. Okay. But this year, there were signs and there were warnings saying, the ice is too thin right now. You should not be out here. Stay away. Well, these four guys, they said, nah, we're good. We're good.
Lord have mercy.
Well, I think you know what happened. They got about 60 feet from shore.
And they weren't good.
And crack. Whole truck. Everything. Right down into the ice. Luckily, the guys were okay. They got out okay. Truck had to be rescued. Of course, that leaked all the fuel and other things into the water. And so they got out of the ice. They said, guys, you okay? You guys all right? And treated them and then gave them hefty fines.
Oh, my gosh.
Said, y'all are idiots because there were warnings and you ignored them. And now we're going to fine you for it because we're going to charge you for every bit of this cleanup and we're fining you for it.
Well, did they get all the fish, though? Because surely that killed all the fish. They just floated up to the top.
No word on that. No word on if they did that. And I don't think you want to eat fish that floated up to the top due to ingesting motor oil and gasoline. I don't think you want that. So there you go. So that's what's going on in Massachusetts during this polar vortex.
So I've got a little one that's not as funny as yours. It's a little more serious.
I don't want to get serious. I don't know.
A little more serious.
I'm not ready for this.
So Baba Vanga, who you may not know is renowned mystic from back in the day.
Forgive me for not knowing Baba Vanga.
Nostradamus.
Oh,
also
yeah.
one.
Okay. Yeah.
They are separated by centuries, but they shared eerily similar predictions for 2025
Oh, please
that
don't.
hint at a year of turmoil. Both foresaw great
Already?
conflicts erupting in Europe, with Baba Vanga predicting a war that could leave Russia as the dominant global power. Nostradamus warned of cruel wars leading to Britain's ruin, followed by a deadly plague described as a great pestilence from the past. Baba Vanga also prophesied that humans may finally encounter extraterrestrial life during an unexpected event, such as a significant sporting occasion.
What? What do you mean?
Additionally-
Like they're going to be throwing footballs? And we're like, that's not
I don't know.
there's no way
I
that
don't
linebacker
know.
is human. And that's how we're going to discover it? Like that
don't
dude's
know.
7.5 feet tall and he's, 600 pounds. How'd they let him get in here with 3 arms? Like,
Additionally,
that's not fair. And then that's what's going to be
Baba
honest. Okay. go ahead,
predicted
sorry.
natural disasters, including a catastrophic earthquake on the West Coast, resulting in mass destruction, displacement, and loss of life. These aligned forecasts of war, disaster, and otherworldly contact paint a chilling picture of what might lie ahead in 2025.
Okay. So, number one, that is terrifying if all those things. And also, there's a lot of bad shit happening already, and we're in, first month
Right.
of January.
First couple
However,
of weeks, yeah.
however, I do want to note that if you do look at all the things that that these people have, Nostradamus and
Right.
Baba Vanga have predicted,
Not
most
entirely.
of them don't come true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But if
Like
you
they
throw
were-
enough stuff against the wall, right?
Right.
Like when did this guy? When was he alive?
Centuries ago.
Yeah. I mean, if that's like you today, okay? You're predicting so much stuff, right? Like, I mean, to get that far in the future, you're
Yeah.
just throwing stuff at the wall.
Right.
And so I think
mean,
that's just what happened.
Back
I mean, there's
to
a
the
good
Future
chance.
got it
Good
pretty
chance.
right, though.
Back to the Future
far
got
as
it
what
so
would be-
wrong. So wrong. There's nothing as cool as what the future looked like in Back to the Future.
I know. It's like Back to the Future, the
Yeah.
Jetsons. They
Yeah.
all promised this stuff. Where the hell is it?
Yeah, exactly.
I want my
See?
flying cars and all
Yeah.
the other stuff. My robot butler.
Anyway, I just don't want everybody to freak out because of all those predictions. I just
Yeah,
don't want,
no. It's
that
just-
we don't need to add any more chaos to the world.
Right.
I think it's going to be okay. And even even if he is right,
right.
we've been through this before, and clearly we were just fine
Yeah,
in the last
we turned
pandemic,
out
right?
great.
We did.
turned
Everything
out
went
great.
right.
Yeah.
Nothing
yeah,
went.
totally fine.
Nothing went awry with that.
Yeah.
So no worries. It's all
Nothing.
going to be fine.
Yeah,
We got it
totally good.
Completely under control.
Michael Scott in The Office. Everybody calm down.
Yeah, everybody
calm down. Nobody
Okay.
panic.
Yeah, exactly. Oh golly. Well,
So,
we'll see
yeah,
how.
just
That's fun.
WTF. I mean, that is how
the
2025 started.
You're right. It's how it all started,
It's how this year started.
and it's how it's going so far. So.
Not off to a great start.
Oh gosh. All right. So we're getting close. We've got to get to the walk of shame here in a second. So that means we got to get to our crazy shit that our kids did this week. My kids, thankfully, have not done anything too crazy this week. Not enough to note.
That's good.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and share this story because I think it's close enough now. My dad did break his toe. And my parents are getting to the age where they're kind of more like my kids than my parents. So I feel like I can include this story, right?
Okay.
When you
okay,
get
yeah.
when you get,
yeah.
isn't that kind
the
of
tables
like
turn at some point?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you find yourself calling
know
in to
exactly.
check on your parents more often than they're calling to check on you these days? Like sometimes, do you do that? You not yet.
Sometimes.
Your parents are a little younger than mine, I think. But I do. I find myself calling to check on them, like, hey, You're not out partying again tonight. Hey, like in the snow, they got this big snowstorm, and I was like, you guys didn't go out and they're like, well, we're thinking about shoveling our driveway. Get somebody to shovel your driveway for you. We don't need that. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah.
So anyway, so I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and include this in crazy shit your kids did this week.
Okay.
But in typical guy fashion, my dad drops like this massive piece of wood on his toe, and it swells up immediately and it's bleeding for like 2 days. He's like, I think it's fine, and it's like
just a flesh wound.
Yeah, everything's fine. And he's like, doesn't hurt that bad. And it's like, okay, but that's can't be your gauge. He has a very high pain tolerance. Like I've watched him. Like he shot 4 of his his fingers together with a nail gun one time, and he's like, I'm fine, doesn't hurt at all. And
See,
he's just
I've always wondered that though about guys. Is it actually a high pain tolerance or is it a high pride tolerance?
Well, I think it can be a little bit of both. My dad, my dad, it's a high pain tolerance.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think it's mainly because he's been in construction type work all his life where everything's so calloused, he can't feel anything. And so it's like you can like hit his hand anyway.
Yeah,
I think that's maybe why. And he's dropped a lot of things. He just hands with hammers and stuff. Anyway, so my mom, I think finally, I don't know if he decides to go to urgent care, if my mom decides, but they're like, they finally go to urgent care, and like my mom sends a picture of one of the nurses looking at his toe, and her face says 100% of like, that's all I need to know about the situation. So that's all I need to know about you. It's like it's going. It's like, I mean, it's holy. If you could put holy shit in one picture, holy shit, WTF is wrong with this foot. In her face, it's that. Oh. And so they're like calling people over, like, look at this. And they're like, you're telling us this doesn't hurt? And anyway, so
we're gonna have to amputate it.
Yeah, but luckily I don't think so. They're like, it looks like it's fractured, and we'll give you some antibiotics and some pain meds, and but you got to rest it for a while and stay off of it. So they took care of it.
Did he have to wear a boot?
Yeah, he's got to have a little boot. Yeah. I think I think I saw a picture of him in a boot. So yeah. So that's what's going on with my adult children.
I'm sure he's not wearing that boot all the time.
Probably
like he's supposed
not.
To either.
Probably not. You keep that on, Dad.
So I don't have anything that my kids have done this week necessarily, but I do have something that one of them said.
Oh, okay.
We were in the car the other day going to gymnastics, and Ava's in the back seat, and I had turned, I think I was at a red light, and I had turned to look, to make sure there were no cars coming. And as I turned to look, I hear from behind me, hey, look, you have gills.
What?
Because when I turn my neck, I'm at the age
no,
there's wrinkles that form when my neck turns.
Right, yeah.
And Ava calls them my gills.
Your gills.
Now, apparently. First time I've ever heard that in my life. Like, kids will humble you in so many ways. Because I'm now, I've got a little bit of, it feels like it's getting loose here. I'm starting to look a little like Ellen DeGeneres right here in the middle.
Yeah, I got that. A little.
Like a little bit, got a little bit of turkey neck happening here. That I'm going to have to maybe a little bit up, something like that. But especially now, I'm just like, really? Gills. I have gills. So in case you're wondering the term for what the kids are calling it these days.
Yeah. No, that's like, like with Luno sometimes, like we'll be playing or something like that. And she's like, I forgot what it was, but we were like, I'm strong and I'm tough and I'm brave. And like, we're going through these things. And like we say that all the time, like I'm strong. I can do this. I'm brave. and I was like this. I was like, yeah, show me your muscles. And she's like, show me yours. I'm like, I'm right here. She's like, no, show me yours. And I'm just like,
flex though.
Yeah,
flex,
yeah.
though.
She's like, no, I want to see them. Like, actually show me them. I was like, all right, I give up. Kids will immediately ruin your day.
Anytime you're feeling great about yourself, go talk to your children.
Exactly. Go talk to them. Oh my gosh, freaking kids. All right, what makes you weird, Flip? I've been waiting all show for this. We're 30 minutes in and I got to know. So you started the show. I said, what makes you weird? And you said, I can't believe I'm still doing the walk of shame or something like that here today. And it's like, now the walk of shame.
Yeah.
The traditional walk of shame, I would say. Isn't that like when you stay over at somebody's house and like the next day you got to like walk out with like one shoe on?
Which I have never done, by the way.
Okay. All right.
That's what I was going to say. I've never done the traditional. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Never done the traditional.
So what is the Flip's walk of shame?
So the untraditional Flip walk of shame. So I've been purging the house recently, and I've been just getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And nothing makes me feel better than just getting rid of shit. And so I've been clearing out everything. And I took a bunch of clothes that don't fit the kids to the consignment store. And I went in with like 4 or 5 like garbage bags of clothes to try to, to sell them. And then you can, the consignment store. And then you use the money and you can shop there and da. So I go in, bring them all in, and you have to fill out the paperwork and everything for the contact information. So after they go through it, they call you and say, hey, you can come, collect your money.
Okay.
And so after a day or so, I get a call back and they're like, hey, you can come in. We've got everything ready for you. You can come in. And so I go up there and walk up to the counter and I'm like, hey, I'm Tiffany Trithall. Like, I'm here to get my money.
Yeah, I'm here to get my money.
And she's like, oh, okay. And she turns around and she's like looking at the paper and scrolling, like looking down a list or something.
Yeah.
And she turns and walks over to the shelf. Like, they've got all these shelves back there behind the thing that they keep all the stuff that they go through.
All right.
And she grabs 4 bags of my clothes and gives them back to me.
So they didn't want it.
And I'm like, oh.
So
she said, yeah, well, some of them were a little too loved and, some had little stains.
Get your nasty ass out of here with your nasty clothes is what she was trying to say. So nice. No, they were not.
Just like,
you have probably had stains and little things. When someone says it's a little too loved, it means get your nasty stuff out of here.
So
that is amazing.
So she goes, then the icing on the top, she goes, would you like one of us to help you carry it back to your car?
Yeah.
I said, no, thank you. I got it.
Basically, you can't get this. We cannot get this stuff out of our building fast enough.
Yes. We will put it on the curb if you don't.
Please, let us help you take this stuff out of here. You're stinking up the whole place with this nasty clothes you tried to bring in here.
So
you had to walk back.
The walk of shame out of a consignment store.
That's amazing. With your own items, taking it back. Yes. That is so funny.
Yep.
That brings up a great thing. What is your non-traditional walk of shame? All right, so that's your non-traditional walk of shame. For me, I get the same feeling. Like if there's 2 instances where I feel like I get the same feeling. Number 1, going into a store, walking around, not buying anything. And then walking out.
I don't know if it's anxiety or what, but I feel so guilty.
I do too.
I'm like, here, you want to check my purse? I don't have anything.
That's what
I
feel like. And especially if it's a place that has one of those people that checks receipts or something at the door.
Yeah.
And I walk past with nothing. I'm like, hey, I promise, nothing on me. And they're like, didn't ask. This actually makes you more suspicious.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, now
buddy.
I want to check.
Right.
You know.
It's like,
but that's what I feel like doing when I walk out.
I throw them off. Which, by the way, I just found out that Sam's Club, the reason that they stopped checking the receipts.
Yeah.
I had no idea. It's because they put the little thing there by the exit.
Yeah,
and
it automatically checks it for you.
I'm trying to show. Well, it took me 6 times before I realized that that's what it was for.
What do you mean? You think they just built a portal in there for no reason?
I don't know. I had a QR code, and I'm ready to scan it. And I'm trying to show it to the person, here you go. Here's my proof of purchase.
I want,
and they're just like, you're good.
Hold up, before I get in.
It happened to me so many times, and I'm like, wait. And it wasn't until talking to you that I'm like, holy crap, that's what That's why they're not checking me anymore.
I want to know what went through your mind, like this Beehive guy, when you walked through this. So I don't know if this is at every Sam's store now, but at our local Sam's, they don't check the receipts at the door anymore. They built these 2 giant tunnels that you walk through with your cart.
Tunnels. It's like arches. It's not a
okay.
Hole. It's not a tunnel.
But they're probably 3 feet thick. Framework.
I mean, yeah.
And they're lined with cameras
like
and
scaffolding.
radar guns and like they are. You haven't seen that?
I haven't looked up to see any
There's
of
little
that, no.
things and they're all pointed at, at where your cart and where you would walk through. They're all pointed at that stuff and little sensors and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I want to know what on earth you think that would be for. If you didn't know it's for checking your card scanner, what did you think they built it for? Go.
I have no idea. I just thought it was like for decoration or some solar something. I don't know.
You think it's like if you are caught stealing, that incinerates you right there at the No, but that is cool what they do. That's like that gas station. There's a gas station just outside of Nashville. It's the only one I've seen so far. But I stopped in it when they were passing through, stopped in there and like the guy was like, you don't know, you just scan your credit card, just tap your credit card on this thing and walk out. It's like, but I didn't scan into my items. No. And it's like, no, it knows. It knows what you picked up. I was like, who knows? Like the Lord? Right. I know it knows. That's why I don't steal in general. And they're like, no, this whole there's this, and I look up and he's like gesturing upwards and there's like this whole, I don't know, there's like these sensors or something. And he's like, it knows. I was like, all right. So you just pick up what you need, and then you scan your card and you leave. Like what?
That's wild.
Like how?
That's wild.
How does it know?
Oh my god!
And apparently it does, and so I did that, and I haven't been arrested yet. So I guess it works. I guess it's true.
See, I guess I honest to God thought that I go to Sam's Club 3 or 4 times a week, and I just thought that the people there at the door were like, "Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead."
Yeah, that's
honest
what they
God,
thought.
Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, maybe they're not doing everybody.
Yeah, you thought you're
days.
VIP now. That you've earned their trust.
I mean, I am a Plus member, so
you've earned their trust. No, it's definitely not that. You have not earned their trust. In fact. Yeah. No, in fact, they still checked your receipt a few times after that thing was installed. And that's why you didn't know. Like, finally, they were like, no, just stop. But so that's one of the walk of shames when you walk out of a store. So number one, you walk out of a consignment store with your own stuff because they wouldn't take it. That is amazing. That is a great walk of shame. Number 2, walking out of a store after you went in there and you did not purchase anything and you walk out with nothing. And that's it. And then for me, number 3, especially if you have kids, you know this, you've probably done this before, walking into any establishment, a restaurant, a store, using their restroom, and then walking out and the employees notice you. They notice that like to me, I'm like head down and I'm like, don't.
Yeah. No eye contact.
And it's like, yes, I did just walk into this Jimmy John's straight to the back, use the restroom because my kid had to go potty. And then walked out without getting a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
That's a walk of shame. And in fact, usually if they do notice me, I'm like, got to get a bag of chips now. Like, got to get a soda now.
Next time, just yell, gluten-free.
Yeah, sorry.
Walk out the door.
Yeah, and they're like, we have gluten-free stuff now. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I think they have the unwitch thing that you could probably
got to turn back around. And then you got to... So, like, that's my 3 walk of shames I can think of there. I don't know if you have any others you can think of. Comment or comment or comment or whatever the hell you do these days to let us know your thoughts if you have a walk of shame. You have any others
I can't think of any other one that I've done, but I remember a story that my grandma told over and over again from when I was a teeny tiny baby. I mean, younger than Jace. And I was just, probably a few weeks old, couple months old, something like that. And she was just, first and only grandbaby. And so she was just taking me all over the place, carrying me around, showing me off to everybody. Well, she took me to the grocery store one day, and it was back when those carrier, they had just come out with some
little
newfangled
baby
ones,
carriers,
and she could put me in front of her and everything and carry me around, so she didn't have to put me in the buggy or anything. And so she's just carrying me around, patting me on the butt, showing me, oh, look how cute my little baby granddaughter is, and just showing everybody all. About halfway through, she realized that she had this kind of warm sensation on her stomach.
Oh, no.
And she looked down, and it was a blowout all over her, right there in the middle of the Piggly Wiggly.
Oh, no.
And so she had to do the walk of shame out to the car and change me in the back of her GMC.
I wouldn't go back into that Piggly Wiggly for years.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the only one within a 50-mile radius. So.
Well, then I would pick a different store.
Move. I would have moved.
I'd move. Yeah. See you later. That's a good one too. That's a real good one. Golly, there's several of those types of things, where you can have to do kind of that walk of shame out of places. Let us know what yours. I was trying to think of a couple other ones. There's gosh, I don't. There's some others I think that I've felt. I can't remember them right now, but I remember feeling that type of same walk of shame feeling in other situations, and so I'm going to try and think of them for next week. I'll see if I can remember them.
Okay,
I'll write them down if I can. But golly, all right. With that said, we're already 41 minutes into this thing. So
we are.
Yeah, so we got to go.
Haven't even been interrupted by Jace. How did that happen?
I don't know. That's weird.
Bluey must be good today.
I was going to say, should you check on him? Is he
I've
okay?
got the camera right here.
Oh, you know. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Like 41 minutes, and it's been completely quiet the whole time with the kids in the house and uninterrupted.
It must be the Granny's
I'd be
episode
calling
of
the
Bluey
police.
that's got him sidetracked. That's our favorite one.
Oh, that is a good one. But they're only like 10 minutes long, so these got to have.
I know.
We've been watching.
Well, it's like I usually put on the YouTube, so it's like a compilation. It's like a 2-hour compilation of the best of.
By the way, real quick side quest on that, and I don't want to offend any of.
Oh
YouTube,
yeah, New Year's.
Well, no, that's great too.
You're talking about New Year's?
No, but that was a great idea.
On
YouTube, we did our countdown at 9 p.m. because they have little generic countdowns on YouTube.
Yeah, they do.
And so the kids are like, it's midnight, and we get to count down, and they did the fireworks and everything, and a dance party, and that was the coolest thing ever. So props to, exactly. And then we're in bed by 10. Fantastic. No, but I was going to say, and I want YouTube to love us because I would love to monetize and have them run ads on here.
Right.
But we've got to do something about like on that type of thing. Have you ever gone on, and this is not just YouTube, this is like Netflix and all the places that now do ad supported things where ads pop up in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
We've been watching kids shows and like all of a sudden it's like, death of the such and such, and it's like what? And it's like a horrible ad.
Oh,
like for an adult show, not an X-rated show or anything, but like a horror film or something weird.
What was that?
That's more aimed to adults. In the middle of the show, I'm like, come on, what are you trying to do here?
Oh, I can't remember what it was, but we were watching some kind of kids something, and it was, and then up popped a movie trailer for this horror movie.
Yes,
with
that's what I'm talking about.
The curly-headed one from Ozark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
and I'm like,
no, I know. I think that may have been even the same preview that I saw, and we're just like, and like. Yeah, exactly. Earmuffs, eyes closed, and they're like, what do you mean? And so, anyway, I don't know, whoever we got to talk to end that and make sure we do better with that. Please. We got to do it. All right, we got to go. I want to thank you for showing up today. I want to thank Jace for not coming in. I want to thank Louie for keeping him entertained. And whatever snacks you gave him this morning, which clearly are satisfying his hunger today. Yes. Usually that's the only reason he interrupts. He's like, more snacks, please.
You see like a little hand pop in with fruit snacks and then disappear again.
Thank you to the nurses that took care of my dad's toe. Golly, you couldn't pay me enough money for that.
Better than me.
Yeah, exactly. And we thank you for listening, following us, liking us, wherever you can do that, wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate that. Flippin' Streeter, Make It Weird. Go check us out. Share it with somebody else. If you can share it with one person, that would be amazing. Like just share it with one other person. That
or
would,
half a person.
Yeah, exactly. That would.
Yeah, that would work too.
Somehow, if everybody just shared it with one person, that would triple our ratings. I don't know how that works, but no, I don't know. Any case, we'll see you back here next week. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.